Lees wanted to graduate into a slightly quicker class without spending too much money, so he developed this class, and now we've got full grids, and as you can see, great racing. So Newsom perhaps inching away a little bit from Micheál Balfe. These two the class of the field. Young Duffy getting away. There's Hardy, Hall and Parks. 25 there, that's Pat Casey, and looks like Murphy just putting a move on him. Indeed he does, down the inside, coming back up through the field in the LJM car after that spin. We're on board again with him. He's up yet another place. He'll be kicking himself for that spin. Murphy usually runs near the front and will be wanting to come back up. Remember, it's all about championship points for these guys. Points make prizes at the end of the year, so that's what they're after. A little bit of curb there at turn 3. He's catching on another competitor in front now as he grabs fourth gear. Good run, heading down towards the S's, back down into third gear. Newsom again, and a little bit more of a gap now, possibly a 2-car length gap, and Duffy still bringing Hardy with him. They're pulling away now from David Hall. Both of them again taking that curb on the inside of Dunlop corner. Here comes Newsom one more time. Micheál Balfe in second, a good gap back behind them. Newsom locking in front with both drivers still trying very hard. In fact, Micheál Balfe going very, very wide there, missing his apex completely. And look at Newsom kicking up there, both drivers pushing like it's a qualifying lap here. Really driving very, very hard. So it's great to see this right at the front of them. I'm sure young Duffy will be watching this and hoping they'll make a few more of those mistakes and he can capitalise. Here comes Murphy again and grabs fourth gear. He's got a good run this time, but the cars are so equal. They're sealed engines, so he won't get any advantage in a straight line. Obviously got a good run off Dunlop corner there to allow him to challenge. And now Newsom 4 or 5 car lengths clear. Certainly looking very, very strong for this one. Up to Dunlop corner again, very late in the brakes. The car moving around as it always does when young Gary Newsom is driving it. Brian Hardy still looking for that third place. Doesn't look like he's going to get it so far. Here's the checkered flag. Gary Newsom takes the win hand in the air. He's delighted with that one, especially with the damage to the back end of his car. Micheál Balfe in second and Trevor Duffy third.
Gary Newsom, you really made it look easy today. You qualified in pole position. Well done.
Thanks very much. The first couple of laps were kind of hectic. I missed a gear off the line and Anton, and I think Micheál got by me. But managed to get them back and held it to the end, so really happy.
Congratulations, Gary. Well done.
So Newsom takes the win, then it's Micheál Balfe, Trevor Duffy, Brian Hardy and David Hall.
The Irish Premier Series in association with Dunboyne Castle, Delco and Urban Images.
I'm joined by David Sheane, who's the designer and constructor of the Formula Sheane cars. David, tell us a little bit about the car.
The car, they're basically a space frame chassis with Rover 1.8 K-Series engine, VAG gearbox, made it to a 5-speed VAG gearbox. All quite simple, minor modifications to both engine and box.
Well, they're proving to be very popular. Of course, you were responsible for the Sheane Formula V previously.
That's right, yeah. Formula Sheane is really just a step up for people to progress from Formula V at low cost, and it has been quite successful. We've quite a few people moved up from mainly from Formula V, but we have a few carters this year as well.
Ready to go now with race 2 and on pole again it's Newsom. I'm not sure if that's a new back wing or they've repaired it. We're on board with David Hall again and Micheál Balfe is on the outside of the front row. Good start from Savage, usual aggressive start from him. Watch out for him coming back up through the grid. This time Balfe has made around the outside, lots of wheel and just gets in front of Newsom as they break for turn 1. It's a good first corner from him. One of the cars slowing there and hand in the air, doesn't get hit by anybody, and it's unusual to see one of those cars slowing down. Not sure what the problem is. Hall out over the curves there as he grabs fourth gear, and that looks like young Chris McCabe having a good brave go on the outside, ex-motocross rider. He's actually Brian Hardy's nephew and run by Brian Hardy as well. Similar colour scheme, so let's not get confused with those two. Hall manages to rebuff the challenge that time round, but look at Newsom already on the attack and down the outside, the car moving all over the place, and we always see Gary Newsom. He doesn't mind getting the car out of shape. Very popular young driver, very polite young man in the paddock, but really aggressive when he gets into a racing car and out over the curbs. He's having a look at the inside now because they come up to Dunlop corner. He's going to go back to the outside. We've seen him do it before. Back to the outside. He'll be looking to get up the inside this time of Micheál Balfe. But Balfe, of course, will have seen that in race 1 and has it covered this time. Newsom still in second place, and in fact Savage with a good run off Dunlop corner that time. Now looking a little bit threatening for second place. Savage down the outside alongside Newsom. Balfe still leading here, but it's very close with these three. Brian Hardy now joining in the action. Then it looks like Trevor Duffy, young David Park, and Newsom next up. Turn 2 now, it's still Micheál Balfe. Newsom in second place. Savage right with him in third place, and now Park's having a look at Trevor Duffy, the two young guns there, side by side, heading down towards turn 3. And look at Newsom, he places the car anywhere on the track. He's having a look round the outside of turn 3. Very dodgy place there to try and overtake the manoeuvre. He's having a look at the S's now down the inside and off camber corner, gets it. Beautiful move from young Newsom. As we said, an off camber corner, the car gets way out of shape. He just launched it down the inside. That really was good stuff. And Hall now having a run at the back of one of these other cars. Not possibly Michael Rice in the Photofast car in front, then Newsom, I think it is, up to Dunlop corner. Hall very late on the brakes. That is Rice in front, and that's Lee Newsom getting caught on the outside. Good move by Rice. Coming off Dunlop corner, gets down the inside of Newsom. Hall looking to go with him, but Newsom defending on the inside. Hall has to move to the outside. Look how equal these cars are, all sealed 16-valve engines, very, very close. And it's the same story again as these two pull clear, because Balfe seems to be able to hang on to Newsom at the moment. But Newsom certainly wasn't waiting too long before he got back to the front of this one. Savage in third place, getting the work over now from Brian Hardy. And as we said, Hardy incredibly experienced. He's had somewhere in the region of 90 race wins since he started racing, so that's more than enough for anybody. It's about time he gave a few of them to somebody like Gary Newsom. And Newsom looking good for win number 2 today. Does look very, very composed as he gets out in front now. And we marked him out as a man to watch in Formula V. He's certainly doing the same thing now in Formula Sheane. This is the Restex car, of course, Dermot Doherty's car. Doherty not racing due to work commitments, and he was so impressed with young Newsom's talent in Formula V that he's loaned him the car. So he's getting good value for his return there, because Newsom out in front of the television cameras. There's Anton Savage. You can see the concentrated look on his face we always see from him, pushing very, very hard. He really would want to be up there having a go at Gary Newsom. He's normally at the front and not having the best of race days from his point of view. Young Parks has put one over there, and Duffy got ahead of him. Paul grabbing fourth gear a little bit earlier this time. He must have got a good run that time off turn 1. And this is Rice now having a look. Newsom's got back ahead of Rice. Newsom and Rice, two green cars, a little bit confusing. And Hall needs to go to the outside there, try and get a good run off turn 3. Newsom now getting away, and now Micheál Balfe coming under attack from Anton Savage, number 2. Brian Hardy right with them. So a 3-car battle now for second place. Let's have a look at this one. Coming up towards Dunlop corner, huge lead now for Newsom. Then it's Balfe, it's Savage, and Hardy right with them. And a little bit back, it's David Parks with Duffy having a go back at him now. Young Trevor Duffy in that Stafford car. Here they come again. Hardy trying to get the nose up the inside. A classic Mondello move, but Savage well able for it and defends heavily there. And that gives Micheál Balfe a little bit of a chance to get away. And now Hardy down the outside, very, very late on the brakes. Doesn't manage to pull it off, but certainly looking very, very threatening at this stage of the race. And Savage knows that there's David Hall taking a bit of inside curve. Fourth gear again a little bit earlier, right out over the curves. Doesn't lift off the throttle at all. That's not a nice place to leave the track. And spinner there right off into the gravel. That's number 25, Pat Casey. Race stop because that car's in a little bit of a dangerous position there. Red flag came out. We're regridded already. Restart, and we're on board again with David Hall, the third row grid. Newsom doesn't make any mistakes. This is Balfe's chance to take it back again. We saw him go so well off the start line earlier. He has another go, but Newsom well able for it this time. They almost touch. Newsom very late in the brakes, knocks a wheel. There's Lee Newsom back in the grid there. David Hall having dropped right back in that one for some reason, and we should get some good onboard shots of him coming back up through them. And Hardy this time having got that third place now significantly from Savage. There's David Hall right at the back. We can expect him to come up through them. Young Chris McCabe just in front of him. Again, look at that car moving around down at turn 3. Newsom just really pushing hard in the opening lap to try and get away, and it's working very well for him, because even Micheál Balfe can't stay with him. Hardy still in third place. Savage looking to that back. Looks like Parks next up. Then it's young Duffy. Chris McCabe going wide now. David Hall having a go at him, and just Hall managed to make that one stick as they head back up towards us. There's our leader, and again just pulling clear. And Hall does in fact get ahead of McCabe and has to defend as McCabe fights back. McCabe going to the outside, coming up to Dunlop corner. Here we are, Hall on the inside, heavily defending at Dunlop corner, and takes a bit of curve on the outside. You've got to watch McCabe doesn't come across the back of him as we saw Newsom do earlier on, but moves over towards the pit wall. Looks like he's been able to defend that one. He'll want to move further up the grid now as this race progresses. So Newsom just driving away serenely. Good performance from him. Hardy now in third place, getting away from Savage. Wouldn't have expected that. Savage usually fighting very hard right at the front. And here comes Savage, the man we're speaking about, down in turn 3. Young Duffy right in there, Lee Newsom. And Hall now is caught up on this group. A good drive from Hall. Remember, he was right at the back early on in this one. So he'll be looking to get a move on Newsom, I think. It is indeed young Lee Newsom next up ahead of him. And just look how hard David Hall's working at the wheel here. Car moving around a lot. Speaking of which, Savage right out over the edge of the curbs on one of the quickest corners of the track there. But he's never been short of bravery, Anton Savage. So Newsom now